The Chinese smartphone companies have been dominating the budget segment for a very long time. Redmi, a sub-brand of Xiaomi, is probably the biggest player in this market. And today in that lineup, we have the all-new Redmi 7A. This might be the best and cheapest entry-level smartphone, and that's for a lot of reasons. Now, talking about the design, the size of the smartphone and the soft touch back panel does give it a sweet grip to hold. Overall, the device is comfortable and compact. Even though they consistently keep making smartphones for the super budget market, there has been a huge improvement in the build materials that they use. In that aspect, even the Redmi 7A doesn't feel any cheap. In fact, I love the matte finish body that they have used. It's not completely prone to scratches, but does show off some fingerprint smudges. In a whole perspective, the design is a huge improvement when compared to the ugly design of the Redmi 6A. The 7A looks very minimal. The camera and the fonts are neatly placed. Cut short, the device feels solid and the minimalistic design gives it a very refreshing feel. When you're buying a super budget smartphone, there is one important metric that you have to consider, and that is the battery. Somehow that has turned out to be the biggest selling point of this smartphone. The device comes with a huge 4000 mAh battery and also supports 10W fast charging. Although in order to utilize this feature, you might have to buy the 10W charger separately. On testing, the device lasted more than a day in a single charge, with regular browsing, YouTube and some gaming. Also, the company claims a standby time of up to 19 days. With the stock charger, it's going to take you over 2 hours to fully charge. The only drawback I see is that the Redmi 7A carries the micro USB port instead of the USB-C port. Now, considering that it's 2019, the USB-C port has become a standard. The screen of the Redmi 7A is a 5.45 inches HD plus IPS panel, which means you won't be able to stream videos in 1080p. Although I do like the display, the viewing angles are great and the colors are pretty decent. But still, I did feel that the display could have been a bit more brighter, since it was pretty hard to view under sunlight. Luckily, there is no ugly looking notch on the display. It also features a fairly thin bezels on the sides, while a little bit thicker bezel on the top and the bottom. If you look closer to the bezels, you might notice some backlit bleeding, but this wouldn't bother you most of the time. Also, the contrast and the depth of black looks pretty good on the contents being displayed. One more thing that might trouble you is the highly reflective glass on the display, and that results in some very bad viewing experience. Xiaomi has saved some manufacturing cost by eliminating the fingerprint sensor. You do get the traditional pattern, password and pin security along with facial recognition. The face unlock is pretty fast, but it's once again a two-step process unlike the OnePlus devices. Also, considering that there are no dot sensors, you should be pretty cautious about choosing the face unlock. The device is shipped with MIUI 10, and I'm not really a fan of any firmware that is not close to the stock Android. The MIUI 10 on the Redmi 7A is packed with bloatware. The unit that I got is a 16GB variant, in which 8GB of the internal memory has been covered by the firmware and plenty of bloatware. Also, you can't complain Xiaomi on this, because with the ads and the bloatwares is how this company manages to give you the smartphone at such an affordable price tag. Now, seeing the brighter side, you do get a lot of features with the MIUI 10, and that is one advantage of choosing a custom ROM. Now, talking about the internals, the device is powered by Snapdragon 439 octa-core processor, which offers a smooth experience while navigating. Even gaming on the device wasn't bad. Considering that it's a 6000 bracket smartphone with 2GB of RAM, everything will be fine if you can stick to the regular usage and very occasional gaming. One good thing about this smartphone is that it doesn't throttle up some unwanted thermal conditions unlike the other Redmi devices. The Redmi 7A has one of the best cameras in this price range. It carries a single RAD 12MP Sony sensor, which is well modded with some necessary features like the HDR and Pro mode. With the Pro mode, you can control the ISO and white balance. Also note that there is no dedicated portrait mode with the rear camera. Despite the front-facing camera just being a 5 megapixel sensor, the results turned out to be really good. Also, under proper light condition, I was able to take some pretty good photos which retained the realistic colors and offered a well-balanced contrast. While the saturation and exposure was pumped up a little bit using some AI algorithm. One drawback is that the camera does struggle a lot under low light condition. The Redmi 7A is targeted at consumers who are looking for a decent entry-level smartphone with great battery life. Also, there are two other choices you can make other than the Redmi 7A, and that can be the Honor 7S and the Realme C2. But still, the Redmi 7A gets an upper hand with build quality and the price. If you're looking for a decent affordable smartphone that can offer great battery life stacked up against a pretty good camera, then the Redmi 7A is a great choice. Anyways, thanks for watching. Yours truly Droid Sector, ours truly, This Life.